Well, it's Monday the 18th of August. Here on my own in the camp. Maestro and the boys, two of the boys, are off cutting wood for Nemia's house. I'll start with the last ceremony, not last night, that's 105. Fucking wasps. Because I forgot to mention what happened in 104 as well, as Antonor got me to sing the Icaro that came to me in Colombia. I was high on coffee. Probably had about 5 cups in a couple of hours and just bouncing around the place. And I just started getting the tune. And I thought, this is like really weird. Why have I just got this tune in my head? And anyway, that developed, and I stuck it through AI and kind of tried to do some words in Irish and old Norse. But basically, it's the tune. I said to Maestro, well, I sang it for him. We were chatting one day, and it was just full of beans, and just sang it to him. And he said, "Oh, I got chills on my arms there." He said that's really good. I think that's valid. So anyway, it was validated with Papa Julio in ceremony 104. He got me to sing it, and of course I'd done some research. Got AI to write me a paper, a summary on all the information. Although a lot of it's sort of not historical fact as such, but just more like myth and whatnot about some of the protection. And there's I haven't got it here. There's a particular emblem, the most powerful protection. I haven't got the name of it with me now. I can't remember it. It's sort of, it's Iceland. It turns out Iceland is the tradition, is the place that still retains, that uses the old Scandinavian language still. And anyway, this has developed over time, and it's come from my Norwegian grandfather's ancestors on the Viking side. And Maestro said to me that yesterday that he has the impression that it's an Icaro for protection. So that was really interesting, because that's the first time I've ever had, and I certainly didn't expect it, but I probably needed it in Colombia, because this witch is part of the family curse. It's a witch, which goes back many generations, I think, to the vision that I had of something to do with the sexual abuse of kids in the Catholic Church, or something like that. But it's difficult to know, because even Papa Julio, he has gone and looked to know by my second ceremony here that this witch was the main problem with my skin. And then the ceremony last night, wow, I was sort of just coming up on it. It wasn't very strong last night, because Mama Ayahuasca told me that my body has been my energy has been sucked by this thing, and I've done incredibly well, only because of all the ayahuasca I've done, that I've managed to fend it off sufficiently to have as much energy that I've had at various times. But I have felt really tired also. And she keeps saying to me, you're going to need to rest on this diet back in Iquitos. You're going to need to rest too, and your battery's flat, your spiritual battery's flat, because this witch sucked everything. Now this thing, which we thought was a spine attack from a witch in the first place, and it's pretty fucking horrible. I can't really see it here, but can't zoom in this mode. That's a pain in the ass, isn't it? But that great round wound looking thing, Maestro said last night, we were in ceremony, and I wasn't really up fully, but Maestro and Darlin were. And then Maestro said to me, he just said, "Steve, your witch is here." He said, "She's confronting me." And this fucking witch tried to attack Maestro, and he said he's just this fucking force of darkness, and he was like, to fight it off. And then he sang the Icaro for Gasolina Mamai, which burns witch spirits. Of course, you can't kill a spirit, but they have to flee from that. It's just too powerful. They have to flee. But yeah, she was definitely didn't want to let me go. And he said in his visions, this witch was covered in those things, but like this big, all over her body, and then the rest of it was the same as the dry skin that my hand was, and she was trying to turn my body into exactly like hers. Fucking horrible. And of course it would have eventually ended up with my suicide if that had gone untreated, because you can't sustain that level of irritation with itchiness permanently, and let alone looking, you know, if that goes all over your body. My skin all over my body was really dry all the time, but that hand was the representation of what eventually would have happened to me. Absolutely fucking horrendous. So and then with the dieta, which is Grenadija, which I'll be on for the rest of this week. We've got 5 more days. It's Monday the 18th today, so we leave on Friday, and then I'm going to have to go back to Iquitos and try and get an apartment, because I've got 3 months of this same dieta, just so that it doesn't reignite. I can't have any bad food at all that can re-trigger it for the first 3 months, until my body, basically, as Mama Ayahuasca said as well, my body's got to actually regenerate all the cells from new over the 3-month period to, you know, make to completely be refreshed, grown anew after the medicine and the Icaros and the treatment, so that I, you know, grow my whole body effectively new without the effect of the hex on it at all, and then I should be fine. Totally fine. I also got Maestro to sing a really powerful Icaro of protection into this Pedra. And then I chatted to Jesus again last night with Mama Ayahuasca, and that was nice. I had a good conversation with him. And I'm going to buy, because after Maestro, to clear this witch's hex, it was sort of like back to the Catholic tradition. You know, he was drawing a cross on my forehead and on my chest in Agua Florida, I said in the last video. And it's just the acknowledgement of that higher spiritual power again, even though I've never felt myself a Christian, but obviously I've got a different view of all the spirituality than standard Christianity. But there's a good reason for it. I'm going to buy a nice silver cross to wear around my neck, and Maestro's going to put a powerful Icaro protection in that. I'm going to wear it separately. I was thinking about attaching it to this, but I'm going to keep it separately, closer to my throat. Hopefully keep away any shitty coughs and shit, whatever, but much more powerful than that, to keep away witches in as well. An acknowledgement for the work that Maestro's done, because he told me a really good story about the effects of the church and why, because he joined an when he was younger, I think it was his 20s, he joined an evangelical church for a while, for very good reason. He had a witch attack, even though Papa Julio was alive back then, but maybe he wasn't around to actually fix it. But Maestro had a hex put on him, and his throat was starting to constrict and slowly close, and he's just getting to the point where he couldn't breathe. Absolutely fucking horrible way. Oh, can't imagine that. And he was in a hammock just lying down thinking, I'm dead, I can't get any breath. And then in the distance he heard music and drums, because a lot of the evangelical churches, as you probably know, or you know, they especially in South America, they're like the Americans, it's tradition, so they have bands and whatnot. And so he got up and he managed to get to this church. He said they were all really friendly toward him. Yeah, come on in, brother. And he said this evangelical padre was really powerful, natural healer. Fantastic story. And he said, and he was looking over the congregation, he said, someone here is suffering from a witch's hex. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You, Signor. Pointing to Maestro, said, come here, come up. And Maestro went up to the guy. He said, the guy put his hand on his head, said prayers. He said, and this thing just went, just left his throat, removed the hex from his throat, and then he could breathe again. And that's why Maestro, for a period, joined the evangelical church, as you would, you know, having an experience like that, because, you know, people might say, oh, yes, there's a lot of charlatans in this business, in that business, we know. A lot of them are fakes, but there are natural healers in the Christian world as well, the same as there are exorcists in the Catholic world, they all have their traditions for removing witches and demons and hexes. But witches, just clarified it with Maestro this morning, because I was never really sure because how it kind of worked. But there's part of the same legion. You know, they are legion. You ask a demon its name and it says legion, because they are just a legion of dark forces, and they come in various forms. But the main two are demons and witches, and of course witches are by far the worst, because they can use hexes on you, and they don't have to be present, although they can actually infest your body in the same way a demon can, of course. Demons don't bother me at all. I've come across many of them and slayed many of them, but now it's just a question of mortal enemy. You know, I've been through my phases where I just didn't want to be part of the war and just killing things in visions in the spiritual world, because I just, you know, I suppose you get that kind of war. It's just, you know, it seems to be killing something, but you're not. They're not. They are more the complete opposite of the light side, and they are your mortal enemy. They want you dead, and all they are doing is attacking you to feed off you, create as much misery as possible to keep you in a low spiritual vibrational state, which is energy that they can feed off. And then they slowly give you illnesses. They don't just kill you outright, because they're just slowly corrupting you, making you ill, giving you every form of negative emotion to keep you in that low energy state. And they're sucking your energy that would be normally feeding your body from your natural spiritual energy that drives your body. And then there's a secondary layer of energy that's accessible to them, that's produced by your own spiritual energy. And that is what when they keep you in a low mental, and of course attack your mind to keep you in a negative mental space. Depression, anxiety, hatred, fear, all of the negative emotions. Keep people in that as long as possible, and until they're old, and eventually their body can't sustain them anymore, and their illnesses are too much, and they'll die. But witches are particularly nasty, and of course, I said to my son this morning, I said, look, after this business, I said, I'm still not clear on, because obviously you can't kill the spirit, you can only banish it and get it out of that person, but it's still there. You can't destroy a spirit. So how does it work with the people who become witches? Is it that they make a decision, a very bad decision, because they're idiots, and they're natural. Some people seem to be born really moral, really strong with the force in a way. It's for good, and some people just aren't. And they're easily swayed to take the easy way out. And then these normal human being spirits in human bodies decide to take the dark road. And Papa Julio said my first night when he was saying about that, I said bad things about Maestro, but without putting the whole context of it or why that happened. You know, he was very clear, because he's very strict, Papa Julio, because he was an immensely powerful shaman here before he died. And now in the spirit world, I had an experience with him last night, putting his hands when he came into the ceremony. I get high on the eye then. Like this white light on the back of my head, as if he had his hands on the back of my head, just cleaning. Because he had to clean me and Darlin, because Darlin's got the witch hex from this ex-girlfriend as well, which is what this business is about. When there's going to be a ceremony this week with all of Maestro's shaman family, as well as Peter Gorman and Papa Julio and Uncle Alberto Torres in the spirit world. I think it's, is it Alberto in the spirit world? Or is he alive? I can't remember which one. But anyway, he's got, there's loads of shamans in Maestro's family. Christian, was in the other retreat, his nephew, his brother, Jairo. So they're all going for their own ceremony one night this week, probably Wednesday. We don't know yet. And they're going to have to bring an end to these 3 witches in Cusco that are attacking his family. So Leela, Darlin's wife, girlfriend with the baby, lovely baby. She had to have this fucking family put a hex on her and stopped her wanting food again, you know, making her ill. But she's fine this morning. Maestro had to suck out 5 times from her stomach last night, and he was spitting the bucket. And in my vision, I could see like this fucking bright green demon snot, sticky shit in my vision going into the bucket. We were laughing about it this morning. So why, like this fucking horrible green snot, like you get in demon's nostrils, horrible. And that's what he was sucking out of the stomach. So she actually ate properly this morning, because the last days or however long she's been off food completely and not eating. So she came into ceremony at one point. Obviously she can't take ayahuasca because of the baby, but so Darlin had 2 cups last night for cleaning. I could only take 1 last night. I was really weak when Maestro asked me, do you want another cup? And it was just nice. And then after the cleaning, Mama Ayahuasca said to me, he said, no, it's the right thing. You don't need a strong one tonight, because you need to rest and sleep tonight. And you're clean, effectively. The hex has been removed. Now Maestro's got rid of the witch. But like with everything, as we know with demons, they leave residue in the damage done in your body for while they were in there, occupying your spiritual space that affects the body, which is what the cleaning is of ayahuasca. When people have diarrhea and everything, that's what it's all about. It's cleaning bad energy through taking the energy out of the cells and then flushing it out with the water that it sucks into your stomach to vomit, or else to have diarrhea and get rid of the bulk of it. And then over time and more ayahuasca, the rest of it will be spiritual cleaning and rebuilding your cells according to the correct spiritual energy that's required, that's natural for you. It's part of our natural spirit. So it's a complicated business. So explaining, I said to Maestro, it kind of clicked then. I said, so okay, just so this is clear, a normal human being has a normal human spirit, but they make a decision at one point in their life through whatever influence, or because they're just lazy, or they're not strong, naturally strong spiritual characters with good sense of right and wrong, no morals, or trauma as well, obviously plays a big part, which isn't people's fault, but I had my fair share, and I'm certainly not fucking even remotely tempted. There's no way the dark side's, gonna call me to actually join the dark side. No, it's just not gonna happen. And, that's why I was given the sword of absolute truth as my weapon. The righteousness, the truth with a capital T. So what happens is, Maestro explained, witches, like the demons, yes, they are out there and they exist, but people allow them in because they start reading, they decide to go down the dark path and then use black magic against people for their own personal gain, whether it's to charge money, to kill people, to attack people, make them sick, because someone will come and say, oh, my girlfriend left me, or she had an affair, put a hex on her and I'll pay you. And then they take their money and then they put a hex on somebody. Or, as in Darlin's case, it was a girl whose family are the witches in Cusco, 1 man and 2 women, and another friend who runs a tarot shop that Maestro's already wrecked in his spiritual world, throwing his stuff all over his desk to frighten him and saying, cuidado, or otherwise there'll be trouble. But they haven't stopped. And this girl put a love hex on Darlin, which fortunately didn't work as well, but obviously still made him ill. Which is why we were cleaning him in the last dieta I was on here. But she's attacked him again this time round, and she's attacked Leela. So now it's serious. It's gone too far. So all of Maestro's family are going to end it once and for all, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I can't say it on YouTube, but in the spirit world, there's going to be extreme consequences for those people. And they deserve it. No sorrow for those people, because they're just pure evil. They have become. So what happens is, once they make that decision, the witch, whatever witch is involved with the black magic, enters their body like demons do, and then effectively takes over their human spirit. So what happens when these people die is they effectively go to hell, the human spirit, because of their decision that they took to take the dark path. But while the witch is in them, and basically that takes over their own spirit, and of course the witch is then feeding as well off their body and corrupting them even more, and usually end up, that's why they just look old and haggard, the old classic of the old and haggard witch, because their body has just been consumed by the spirit of the witch feeding off them. And I mean, it's it's just the thought of it. It's horrendous. These things on me, this thing, and I've got another little one here that came up in the last week or so. It was just started as a scratch. Can't really see it, but it's a tiny version of this one. But it's got the same perimeter wall built up around it. Looks like a little volcano. It said Maestro saying that this witch in his vision had those all over her body, but like this big, as well as all the white. But the gasolina mamai. Gasolina mamai. Bruhu, quema, bruhu, explodando, bruhu. Sometimes when he sings that Icaro, you can smell burning. The fires of the gasoline. You can smell the burning in the spirit world. I've had that once. That was interesting. It smelled like a real fire here in the woods. It smelled like a forest fire. It smelled burning. It's gasolina mamai. Mamai is big mama. So this big mama spirit, like we said. Big mama. Mamai. Boa negra mamai or abuelita mamai. The big mama of all of the spirits of the eagles or the anaconda. The anaconda's like boa negra. Just swallows witches. Crazy stuff, kids. It really is, but it's all fucking real and it's horrible. So anyway, it's a sort of change. We're going to get Starlink in. I'm going to probably pay for the equipment. Meister's going to have to pay the monthly bill because Juan's got it. A girl from England visited the retreat and she brought a little mini dish that I got a photo of to know what the model is, but because it came from England or wherever, they don't seem to be able to get that one here. But I'm going to look in Iquitos. I'm going to look at what models are available to buy the kit, because I looked last time and it's about something like 1,200 soles, which is about $400, $300, something like that for the kit. And we think the actual root is in the dish. I've got to research it because we think the root is actually in the dish now, because all Juan seems to have is a little dish. It's only this square. So we think the router's in the actual dish because there's no separate router. There's just a power supply that feeds it, and that's it. And then it just connects. So Juan managed to get it working because he's got batteries and everything. But obviously we're going to have to fork out on batteries, good quality batteries that have got a 12-volt supply, set of solar panels to put up on the roof or somewhere here. And then at least, because the boys, somebody has to be here all the time now because they don't dismantle the camp anymore. There's too much work been done here. And then look at helping them out with starting the building of the Maloka, but bit by bit, and just hope that my XRP continues to rise, so I can pay for it, because it's the only path. Just to, after Maestro and Papa Julio saving me this time. And that's this family hex. I mean, I don't know the state of the rest of my family. I dread to think what state my older sister's in with her illnesses. Don't know about the younger sister. Still not sure. I don't think she has had anything to do. I don't think she'd have the time to be involved in black magic. But you never know. She's crazy enough to think like that. The narcissism demon, queen narcissist that I've seen in my visions. The queen of narcissism with the forked tongue of the snake. I cut its head off, but obviously you can't really kill witches. But whether that was sufficient to actually banish her from Josephine, but I doubt it. But maybe gave her a reprieve. But it keeps her looking very good. But as for the older sister, then I don't know what state her health is. I'd like to be able to go back one day, sooner than later, to see Terry. Terry will be 75 in February. It's August now. So my journey now is just as and when, because 3 weeks time I've got to come back and do another 2-week dieta to strengthen my skin. After when Maestro finishes at Lighthouse, 3 weeks work there, I'll come back here and do another 2-week dieta, just purely health. So once my health is fully back, then I can start back on shaman dietas for trees and protection, get more trees under my belt. And just, there's no rush now, it's just, I said after the initial arrival here and just being so pissed off that with everything and thinking I've been through all this and it was supposed to be, but it's been complicated because I had 3 witches thinking about it. I mean, because I'm an idiot, 2 of which were my own doing, because there was one in friggin' Thailand and then the one here in Peru after leaving the Lighthouse retreat. So that was 2, and this is why they were also, when I was having the other treatment for Katawa, the chemotherapy had a witch in it too. Oh yeah, so that's fucking 3 there, plus the one from my family, 4. But those ones were clean. The 3 were most recent were cleaned, but they were still powerful. But they were enough for this main family affecting witch that goes back generations to keep her occultado, hidden from the medicine for so long. I said, but fortunately, doing the medicine for 4 years was enough to keep me, strong and relatively clean to be able to fend off her worst attacks and only have outbreaks of eczema type skin again, plus the allergy to my sweat. So after 3 months of the dieta, a list of lots of fruits and vegetables that I can eat, boiled or liquidized, with coconut milk. Getting coconut milk is going to be the hard part, because I'm really going to want that to be able to make nice, a nice drink of all mixed fruits with coconut milk. It's a nice big smoothie as a meal for a day, as well as just cooking noodles with, like the same that I'm eating here, with eggs and a leg of chicken boiled, and nothing to irritate the skin, nothing from the onion family, no onion, no garlic, nothing, certainly never any spices ever again, which is a shame, because I love a good curry, but you don't get them here anyway. But yeah, spices are nasty for skin problems and blood problems. So anyway, that's fine, because you can have salt with it. Just get some decent Himalayan pink salt like I had in Colombia, or good quality sea salt here in the supermarket. But it's going to be expensive. Iquitos is really expensive now in the supermarkets. Everywhere is expensive, isn't it? In the world, everywhere. It's fucking crazy. So anyway, I've got plenty of projects to keep me busy. I'm going to start writing my book. I have 3 months of this diet to write my book. Start writing my book. The second title back again, The Reluctant Shaman. And Mama was saying, there are different ways of shamanism. You don't have to be the person doing the ceremony. There are other ways. And last night was interesting. I don't know because obviously at my level, I don't know if it worked. But Darlin, when he was, I think it may have been after his second cup, he had really bad pains in his stomach. And Darlin's, he's a hardcore. He's a lovely guy, lovely lad. He really is wonderful. Such a hard worker, and he had pain, and so when I was clean, I was kind of, again, my whistly kind of was starting to come back, that bit of cleanliness, and I was just sacando, sucking the pain out of his stomach. So I thought, imagine it, like a ball of shit coming into the palm of my hand. And then I asked Peter Gorman to help me. And then I got the idea that Peter Gorman, we were in the Caverna Roja, the red magic cave, which is where dark energy is put so that it can be transformed by the spirits of red magic into something good. Because you don't just take energy out of someone and just throw it because it just goes somewhere else and will affect someone else. It's got to be effectively disposed of properly. So all bad energy that's sucked out has to be sent to, in Peter Gorman's book, Ayahuasca in My Blood, it's got to be sent into the liquid. And then Peter Gorman was like saying, oh yeah, okay, you got that ball of energy, just put it in that liquid pond of red goo. He said, but with that, he said, go right the way down into it, the length of your arm, and put that bad energy right deep into it. Saying, transform to for good. But, I don't know if these things really work. But I mean, after that kind of little space in my head and I came back, Darwin wasn't groaning anymore with his pain. But Maestro was singing in Icaro as well, so it was probably all Maestro, nothing to do with me, but I don't know. But the thing is, I got an Icaro sent to me, and it's been validated by Papa Julio as genuine. So, got something. I don't know how much of what levels of shamanism. Oh, and that was another thing. We're talking to Maestro about the pineal gland as well, and got him to confirm that when the pineal gland does get calcified, but there's dietas, and it's Chiricsanango, which is like one of the most difficult dietas. So one day, probably in 6 months, I'll probably try it because Maestro's done it. He said you lose the use of your legs. It's really hard dieta. You can't walk for a day. You just, you're just really sick on it. But he said it's powerful cleaner. But he said that is really good for cleaning the pineal gland. So that's got to be done, isn't it? At some point, just to activate the pineal gland and get potentially more access to various possibilities of the spirit world from a healing perspective, let's say. All the gifts that come with shamans eventually, because it's fascinating hearing Maestro when he's got 2 or 3 spirits in his body. He's got Papa Julio talking through him in a different voice, and then Christian will come with his stutter, and Maestro talking with a stutter, which is what Christian's got, and Christian's father's got the same stutter. So when he comes, they're stuttering, and then Maestro's talking normal, and then Papa Julio will go ha 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 ha, be laughing in a slightly different voice than Maestro's, and then a spirit will come in. He was talking to. I said, oh, Maestro, who was the spirit you were talking to last night? He said, you couldn't remember for a minute. I said, it was, Maestro, talking about Darwin in this really high, squeaky, feminine voice. He said, that was just another spirit from the ayahuasca, from the medicine world. And then I did my intention. Before I drank I said, look, I'd like to talk to you, Mama, and if possible, I'd like to meet Granadija, Spirit of Granadija, and thank her for being my dieta and being an important part of this last week of my dieta drink, to preparing and cleaning my blood for the second ceremony to actually remove this fucking hex, and as it turns out, the witch that's caused it all in the family, that I thought was gone months ago, but wasn't, because there was others. Oh, what a mess I got myself into, really did, idiot. But it's all part of learning, Maestro's had hexes in the past. He's that nasty one where he had the fucking animals in his tongue, 7 of them, that got spat out when he had to do a mixed drink that Papa Julio told him about, where with a part of it was gasolina, to actually drink gasolina and vomit out, and then these fucking little animals, little worm type things from the river, came out of his tongue and his mouth. And again, another hex. So that was a witch that spiked his coffee in a restaurant. in a cafe. He had a cup of coffee or a drink in there, and Witch had put something in his drink. This is why I don't like Genaro Herrera much. There's a lot of witches and other shamans in Genaro Herrera. And I'm the only gringo, so I stand out like a sore thumb. You never know who's watching. This is a problem. But Maestro's been under so many attacks. Roberto's got a witch attack, and he's working in a factory in Lima at the moment. His other son, he's 27, second youngest, I think. So Maestro's so much on his plate, and then Leela, and then I'm here as well with him to worry about, and all these. So he was looking really tired yesterday, but he's good today. He was smiling. He was talking to one of his relatives, and the gist I got was, no, this is what's got to be done about. And so I said to him after the ceremony, do you feel a bit better after having a heavy heart yesterday, Maestro? Because I spoke to him yesterday. Because the only thing I can do is help him with be his friend and talk to him. We're really good friends. Got so much respect for Maestro, and I think he does for me too. So I'm going to help him out with his project here and get things going for him. I know that's what he really wants to do for his future and for his family's future. And of course, for me, it means that we're trying to form a company so that I can apply for a visa full time and not keep having to leave, because leaving and coming in and out, the amount of time I spend here, I can't afford to fall foul of immigration. I'm not that I think they would. They've always let me back in, even if it hasn't been quite ready for a new year or anything. Like, they let me in for 2 months this time, way before October, but they let me in for 2 months. But this time I'm gonna have to just stay. Can't keep going in and out. It's money that's better spent elsewhere, but also because I have to do this 3-month dieta minimum, I've got to be here for longer than that. And as much as I dislike Iquitos, I'm going to have an apartment. I just hope I can find an apartment. It's cheap. I'll talk to Ida, talk to Alberto, who owns my hotel. He's a lovely guy, speaks really good English, and we get on really well. And see if he can help me out, if he's got a friend or somebody that's got a quiet apartment, furnished with kitchen and whatnot, just so, because I've got to be able to cook this diet. I can't have anything, because it's too expensive anyway. All the ayahuasca cafes are shit. It's so expensive now. Fucking sandwiches. Cafe Dawn the other day was absolute shit. Like 30 fucking soles, or 40 odds, nearly. No, one meal out there, everything was 70 soles. Oh no, that was that was La Noche for a meal and a drink. 70 soles. It's got ridiculous. And Cafe Dawn's like 50 soles for an egg and chicken and egg sandwich, and the chicken was just garbage. So the food there's gone right down the pan. It's just a waste of money. I just want to be able to cook like I had in my nice apartment in Colombia, despite the friggin' noise. But I need the quiet and just be able to cook, have some space on my own, relax, and do a web page for Maestro. And slowly, over time, try and bring clients and get the Maloka built just off here toward where the lake was. It's just weird now, it's so low. I might as well show it actually, compared to what it was before. So you see this area is much bigger now. This is the permanently walled off area for the mosquitoes. My bed in there. That's a nice little creche that Darlin built for his baby when they visit. So there's a kitchen area. Maestro's got a mattress, which I'm glad for him now. I can see he's feeling a little bit older now. It's weird. He's in his 50s now. But this was the lake before. It's incredible, isn't it, how low it can go. 3 meters it rises. And then, of course, all burnt. But the good thing this time of the year right now, no mosquitoes. Very few. I did get a couple of bites. So, shit. Forgot about that. Fuck me, that's my drink boiling. Wasting the gas. Fuck. 10 leaves of grenadilla. Oh god, I bored it all, nearly all away. Shit. It's only supposed to be boiled for 20 minutes, you idiot. Fuck. Right, I'll have to sort that out.